Follow us at Civic Center TV on Twitter and Civic Center TV 15 on Facebook. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home. Stay tuned for the Splash Live. It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you so much for being here. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh. Starting off with our top story of the day, the 2025 West Bloomfield Lakers season got underway to kick off the weekend at OAA Football Media Day. This was at Rochester High School. West Bloomfield head coach Zach Hilbers rounded out the 22-team presentation, introducing his 2025 Lakers and delivering a special message to the OAA. Let's take a look.
You know, guys, to be honest, we're super excited. You get to this point of the year, especially the end of this day, we're right around the corner. All the stuff that you've been working for and lifting weights and conditioning for, it's right there in front of you. You know what I mean? And with me here, I got three seniors that they've kind of been through the gauntlet with us. These guys and a couple other have played a ton of football for us since they were sophomores. Okay, on my far right, I have Jeremiah Benson, who will play on the D-line, and he'll play some tight end, and Kamari Pittman, who's played on the D-line, and he'll play some H-back, and Travis Robertson here, who will play on the O-line and D-line. And these guys played a lot as sophomores in a state semifinal game, and were a play away against Southfield from kind of reaching their ultimate goal. And then the next year, last year, we were toe-to-toe with so many quality opponents on our schedule in a lot of different games. And honestly, more often than not, it didn't go our way. So they kind of had a taste of that success when they were younger. And then last year kind of got put through the ringer that can be the grind of the OAA schedule that a lot of people have mentioned. And they've kind of seen both sides of it. And I think it's left them with a great balance of the appreciation it takes to get close to your ultimate goal, but also the understanding that it takes of how hard it is just to get there. You know, winning is difficult. It's really difficult. If it wasn't, everybody would win every week. You know, especially if you look at some of the schedules in this packet, it is very difficult. And I think we got a pretty good understanding of that and what it takes to at least give yourself a chance to get out there and compete, put your best product on the field, and give yourself a chance to win each week. And that's our ultimate goal. All our off-season training, all our summer has been to get in there, get stronger, get ready for the gauntlet that's about to happen starting next week. And to be honest, guys, my closing message, I guess, because we're last to everybody in this room, is there's a lot of good coaches here, guys, but the players across this board, from my left to my right, you guys are what make this league special. Okay? And it's not kids in the hallways of your school. It's not kids in your classroom or your cafeteria. It's us here in this room. We are the only ones, and your teammates, that understand the sacrifices that we all make to try to reach our goals. Right? So along with that, it's my goal is to continue to support each other and lift this game up. And yeah, it's a weird balance because a lot of us, we're going to compete against each other. And it's a physical game that you want to beat each other's face in within the rules and push people around. but at the same time, lift each other up. Because the people that understand the stuff that you guys sacrifice to try to reach your goals, they're all here. And yeah, we might practice differently, we might lift differently, we might condition differently, but we all have the same goals for each other. You have the same goals for each other, you have the same goals for your teammates, and we all want the same thing at the end of the day. And it's not going to happen for each of us, but man, I know that at least the teams that we're going to play, we're all going to try, right? So embrace each other, lift each other up, and keep advancing this game so we continue as a conference to reach greater and greater heights each year. Thank you guys, appreciate it, have a good one.
You can watch the entire OAA Football Media Day event on CivicCenterTV.com and check our on-air schedule for listings of when it will air on cable and, of course, on 89.3 Lakes FM as well. Close to home in West Bloomfield, a learning opportunity for kids, getting them out on the water and setting sail on a new skill. Civic Center TV intern Ishan has more.
I'm here at Cass Lake, where Community School Sailing is hosting its Try It Out night. Parents and kids can get out onto the water and get a first-hand experience with the boats and equipment to see what this year of scholastic sailing will be like.
I think that one thing you should know is that sailing is one of those experiences that you think it's just sitting on a boat, but truly there's so many aspects to it that make it amazing. You get to learn how to tie knots, how to sail the boat, and if you come around with us a lot more often, you get to learn about the racing style and the techniques used in professional sailing that are even used in an Olympic environment, which I think is a very unique tool in the fall and spring times, where we have even clinics with professional sailing coaches and even mentors.
Out here, I mean, sailing being on the water is just something that is, I think, really therapeutic to people, really appealing for a lot of reasons. Cass Lake is a very busy lake with lots of boaters, and we have one of the largest sailing programs, so I'd say a lot of people just want to be part of something that's a growing sport around the nation, around the world, and it's a great way to meet a new community, and a really great community at that. So
I will say high school and the middle school sailing with a community sailing school, it brings in not just one high school, so it's not just West Bloomfield, it's not just Groves, it's not Seahome, it's not just DCDS, it's all of the schools coming together. So you're meeting so many people from so many different areas, and we're coming together, we're having dinner together, we're sailing together, we're competing together. And it's a great way to meet people in the community and make so many friends, not just within your school, but just around the entire Oakland County area.
before the start of each high school season in the fall, we like to allow new prospective members, students, to try out high school racing for the first time. They usually arrive after school, or in this case in the evening, and they're going to go out on boats, and they're going to learn a little bit about sailing if they haven't already, and they're going to get to know their coaches, and they're going to get familiar with Cass Lake.
So scholastic sailing works a lot like our other sports in our high schools and our middle schools, except we're traveling to our other events. So when we get our middle school programs are more about training and learning how to sail, and then our high schools continue on to go to different events all over the Midwest and across the nation. So it works a lot like a soccer or a football team, except our meets or our games are regional. So we go to different places in Michigan or out of state to compete against other sailors. I think sailing is similar to other sports, that if we're athletic and minded and we're good at basketball, good at football, it comes to us pretty easily. But if we're not real athletic minded, I wasn't a real athlete as a young person, but sailing is, because there's a lot of mental and focus and thought process to it, as well as a physical aspect, it works well for us that are not always the most physical people for regular conventional sports.
It was great to get out onto the water and get a first-hand experience with the boats. If you want to get out on the water and learn about the sport of sailing, be sure to come to the Try It Out night at Cass Lake. For Civic Center TV, I'm Ishan Desai.
To learn even more about the Community Sailing Academy, watch our interview with Eric Ellison on demand. It's directly on our website. That's CivicCenterTV.com for more. Gino's 28th annual Pre-Dream Cruise Classic Car Show is coming back for another great time. We recently spoke with Gino Santia and Joan Walsh to tell us a little bit more about this very special event. Hi to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning to both of you. Glad to have you with us to talk about this great event. Gino, I'm going to start with you. This is the 28th year of your classic car show. How did this tradition originally get started, and what's inspired you to keep it going all these years?
Well, it started with the Woodward Cruise itself. The cruise started a couple years before we started ours, and it just happened to fall in on the same time as one of my class reunions. And I thought, what a great weekend that would be to have my high school class reunion in conjunction with a cruise. So we decided to have one of our own here at the restaurant because everybody's going to be here anyhow for the reunion. So we started it 28 years ago, and it's been going on every year.
And it's such a fun event. I was out at the Pre-Dream Cruise last year. It was amazing to see all of these fantastic cars and to see everybody enjoying themselves. Joan, what would you say makes this, what would you say makes this event such a staple in Kego Harbor and Greater West Bloomfield with the Dream Cruise community?
Well, first of all, everybody loves the classic cars, so they love to come. We get about 200 cars in the parking lot. Which way should I go here?
260, actually.
Yeah, and what's nice about the event is if you want to run into all the people you grew up with and everybody from Kego Harbor, we're a small town. We've got about, I think, 3,500 residents, and obviously we don't have that many people show up, but all the people that you want to see will be here, and you run into people you haven't seen for years, and every year it's just a blast. It brings the community together, and it's just a lot of fun.
It absolutely is a lot of fun. Gino, what can attendees expect at this year's show in terms of the food and the car variety? And is there anything new or expanded from the previous year's events?
Well, we pretty much repeat everything we've done in years past. We'll have a food tent outside. We'll be serving some hot dogs or hamburgers and refreshments out underneath the tent. And of course, our restaurant will be open for ordering too, as well as our patio. And we try to separate the normal cars from the classics, so you can walk around in the back parking lot and just see all classic cars. And I remember you said something about starting at 5. If you came at 5 o'clock, you're going to have a hard time finding a parking spot. They start coming in sometimes at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and they start lining up.
Wow. I mean, that just shows how popular this event is and the excitement all throughout the Greater West Bloomfield community. For those just joining us, I'm talking with Gino Santia and Joan Walsh, who are talking about the 28th annual Pre-Dream Cruise Classic Car Show leading up to the Woodward Dream Cruise. That is going to be taking place on Monday, August 11th. Now, Gino, roughly how many cars do you think are going to be at this year's event?
Well, we never know for sure I was going to show up, but it's never less than 200 unless it rains. But last year was our biggest year, and we had around 260 cars show up. One other thing we do, we give trophies to, we have a disc jockey out in the parking lot playing oldies music kind of thing, cruise music, stuff like that, Mustang Sally and those other kinds of songs. And some of the trophies we have, I have back behind me, like, for example, one of the prizes is for Gino's favorite. Then we have the best of show, best paint job, the one you'd most likely want to take to a drive-in theater. So these guys really look forward to these trophies and stuff, as well as we got little dash plaques. These guys that drive the classic cars, they're collection guys. They like stuff, so they leave our place with a little plaque that they can attach to their dashboard or somewhere in their garage. And we've got one every year. We've had one. How many years now, Joan?
About 16.
Yeah, we've done about 16 years with the dash plaques. They kind of look like this.
Yeah.
And they're magnetic, and they just stick right on their dashboard.
Man, those seem like some of the best awards you could possibly get. Now, Joan, with an event like this that is so popular and keeps getting more popular every year, what do you think keeps bringing people back to this event year after year? And how do you think this event keeps everything fresh and exciting for the new generations?
Well, I think one of the things is we have a different theme for the cars every year. And so I think that adds some excitement. We have all of the marketing matches, the posters that go up in the restaurant. The top of the trophies has the same artwork. The dash plates has the same artwork. So we have a cohesive theme every year. There's been several years when we've managed to, ahead of time, get special cars here that have been featured on the shirt. A couple years ago, we did the Volkswagen van, the bus, and we got a guy from Waterford that does those, and he brought several of them to the event. One year we had a Woody, and there was a very nice gentleman that brought his absolutely gorgeous car, and it was featured on the T-shirt.
The Camaro Club.
Yeah, and the Camaro Club. So I think, it's just something everybody looks forward to. It's different every year because of the different theme of the cars. We have a judge that goes around and he judges the cars. And how we pick the cars is the judge and I will usually go through what we've done in the past, and then we present Gino with a few ideas, and then he really has the final say-so of what goes on the shirt and all the marketing. So, but we try to switch it up and do something different every year. We change the shirt colors, we change the cars, and try to just, so everybody's collection is very different and a lot of fun when you look at it all.
This year we have the Roadrunner. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's
1970 Plymouth Roadrunner is on the shirt this year.
Awesome. Love to see the designs and love to hear about all this excitement for this amazing event. Gino, last question before we wrap things up. What does it mean to you personally to host this event every year at your restaurant, and how does it tie into your role with the community?
Well, like Joan said, it's a community event, and we get people from everywhere, and they look forward to coming here. And I think our city and on their website even puts it as an event in Keego Harbor. So it's been something that everybody looks forward to around here. And I feel honored to be able to do it, and I think it's a great night, great day, great night for everybody to come out and just enjoy it, seeing everybody and looking at the cars and walking around and talking. It's just a fun day. It really is.
You said it, Gino. August 11th is the date to stop by Gino's Pizzeria to see all of these amazing cars in the lead up to the Woodward Dream Cruise. Gino, Joan, thank you both so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Thank you very much. See you Monday.
You can get more information on today's pre-Dream Cruise Classic Car Show at Gino's Pizzeria and Restaurant in Keego Harbor. On their Facebook, that's 1999 Cass Lake Road, specifically 1999 CASSLK RD for Cass Lake Road. The International Association of Emergency Managers has officially designated August 2025 as the first ever National Emergency Management Awareness Month, aiming to spotlight the vital role of emergency management professionals in building resilient communities. We actually spoke with Tom Hardesty, Director of Emergency Management and Homeland Security for Oakland County, to give us more details on this special occasion.
Tom, thank you so much for joining us today.
Good morning, Jake. We appreciate you having me on this morning.
Absolutely. Very, very important conversation. As I said, August 2025 marks the first ever National Emergency Management Awareness Month. How does this month-long campaign aim to highlight the importance of emergency management professionals in our communities?
It's really an opportunity to start a discussion, get people to start a discussion in the home, in their business, think about things that they can do themselves to help prepare for an emergency. When disasters happen, you're going to be looking for the police or fire or somebody to respond, but in a major incident, it might take some time. So we want to make sure that people have a good plan and they can keep themselves safe until help arrives.
That's right. It's always important to have a plan in place and to know what to do when an emergency is taking effect. What types of outreach efforts are being encouraged during National Emergency Management Awareness Month, and how can local emergency managers get involved?
Every community in Oakland County has a emergency management liaison. In West Bloomfield, it's the fire chief, Greg Flynn. We have a great relationship with him and the department, as well as the police department. Constant communication with them. And then for him, it's with the communities there that they serve. Making sure that they have that information, how they get information. You mentioned Oak Alert. That's one of our key ways. It's not a system that you're going to get spam calls from or spam information, which we all have to deal with quite a bit. So only during emergencies, you can sign up for the type of alerts you want to get, whether it's something minor, such as traffic issues, or you only want to be notified in a major emergency. But that's where you can get information quickly. Whether it's your cell phone, a house phone, an email, you have many options that you can get to by going to Oakland County Emergency Management's website and sign up for that.
Yeah, that sounds great for people to have these notifications, to be made aware of very important emergencies that are taking effect. And as you said, there are no spam calls. They only send out alerts if it's something serious. Could you talk about maybe some of the examples of the types of emergencies or incidents that would trigger an Oak Alert notification?
Absolutely. And unfortunately, with the weather changes over the last few years, we've seen more of these. We will send out notifications during a tornado. We'll send them out when there are flood concerns. It could be a hazardous materials incident, whether it's a tanker truck or something that happens at a business. Giving people information. Do they need to shelter in place, or do they need to evacuate? Getting that information quickly so they can make the right choices. It's summertime right now. A lot of people have kids at home while they might be at work. So also making sure that you have these conversations with your kids at home so that they understand what they need to do in case of an emergency.
That's right. Important to get the kiddos up to date and informed as well. Important for everybody to have this information. Now, with the campaign emphasizing faster and more reliable communication, how does Oak Alert compare to social media or traditional news in terms of speed and accuracy?
Well, we use several means possible. So that's going to be one of the first things that we send out. It is Oak Alert. And then that will in turn put that information out on our social media pages as well. But the quickest and most accurate information you might get from there. We also have the ability in certain emergencies to use WIA notifications, which would go to your cell phone, similar to an Amber Alert. Those are only used during extreme circumstances. But again, we always look to have at least 3 different ways that we can get information to people.
Great. Love to have all this information available. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with Tom Hardesty, Oakland County Director of Emergency Management and Homeland Security, as we're talking about August 2025 being the first ever National Emergency Management Awareness Month, and a lot of valuable information to take away. Now, when it comes to Oak Alert, and I think you just touched on this a second ago, what steps should residents take to sign up for Oak Alert, and how can they ensure that their contact information stays current?
Best way is to go to our website, oakgov.com, and type in a search for emergency management. You get a link there where you can sign up. We send, on occasion, we'll send test messages to make sure that it's working. And then they can go in and access that site whenever to check their own information, make sure it's secure and safe, and as you said, accurate and up to date.
Good. That's one of the most important things, because you don't want to move to a new location and have the alerts going to the wrong place, or a new phone number or a new email, and have those get mixed up as well. So that's very important. Now,
and you can sign up for more than one location. You can sign up for your home, for your work. Maybe you have an elderly parent or a special needs family member. You can sign up for more than one location so that you can get notices for more than one place.
Oh, that's even better. That's covering all the bases and making sure that every account and every number gets those alerts. So that is very, very important. Thank you, Tom, for that. How does the use of code red technology enhance Oak Alert's capabilities for delivering notifications across different platforms like text, email, and phone calls?
Well, there are a number of platforms out there. Our current one is Code Red. We also go out to bid and look at these. These companies are constantly developing the technology. One of the biggest benefits is the ability for us to also be able to use GIS technology with a map to try to narrow down those messages to the appropriate. So for example, if there's a hazardous material spill and we need to show people to shelter in place for a mile radius, we can quickly draw that on a map. Based on the address that people put in the system, it will send messages to those people who have registered and have an address within that polygon that we put on the map.
Fascinating. Really interesting to hear how the process works. I am curious, Tom, what have residents had to say about Oak Alert if they've been communicating this to you and to Oakland County?
Well, actually, one of our coworkers just last week, she texted me about an incident with a storm. She said her daughter, they were outside, had some of their friends over swimming, seemed like a pretty nice day. And she was surprised when she got a notice that there were storms in the area. So she said it didn't look like it, but she tends to believe information when she sent it to her, started to get the kids together and actually just made it inside before a lightning storm hit the area. So we do get good feedback. It is important to be able to get that information again and get it quickly and then pay attention to it when it comes.
Tom, I'll tell you, from living in Michigan my entire life, the one thing I have learned is that the weather can change like that. So I definitely can expect a storm like that to come totally out of nowhere. And it's good that there is information like Oak Alert out there to inform the public. I got one more question before we wrap things up, Tom. Looking ahead, how do initiatives like National Emergency Management Awareness Month and tools like Oak Alert work together to build stronger and more prepared communities in Oakland County and beyond?
Well, one of the reasons we really want to push this message out so that we can get more people to sign up. You know, if we don't have phone numbers or don't have contact information, we can't send it to them. So the Emergency Management Week is trying to highlight those concerns, those things that might take place out there, help people to get prepared and understand that one of those steps to being prepared is being signed up. If you're in Oakland County, it's with Oak Alert. If you're in Livingston or Genesee, many of the other counties have similar systems. So making sure that you have access to that kind of technology.
And it's important for as many resources, or as many people as possible to have access to these resources. Tom, I want to thank you so much for your time. Why don't you tell us one more time how people can get signed up for Oak Alert?
Absolutely. Go to the Oakland County website, www.oakgov.com, and then put in emergency management, and it will take you right to our sign-up page.
That's where to go, and that's where you can get all of the alerts to stay up to date on the information in your community. Tom, thank you so much for joining us today here on The Splash Live.
Thank you, Jake.
And once again, to download that Oak Alert app on your phone, go directly to the government's website. There's www.oakgov.com for more. At West Bloomfield Tree Runner Park, Bounce Forest is one of the newest attractions alongside Pud Forest and aerial options, reinforcing the park's focus on inclusive, family-friendly adventure. Joining us on The Splash Live is Assistant General Manager Luke Weller to tell us more about Bounce Forest. How you doing, Luke?
I'm doing so good today. Thank you for asking. How are you doing?
Doing just well. Happy to have you here. Talk about this new feature that we have. We've seen the pictures. Now I'm excited to talk about it. Let's just talk about the inspiration behind Bounce Forest.
So a little bit of where it came from. So the Bounce Forest, I was so excited that we did it this year. It's been something that we've been talking about for quite a few years now, actually. It's been in the works, and we've always been looking for something that's like a new outdoor attraction that's kind of a little bit similar. Like it stems from our climbing things. That's where we started, was all those aerial forests and the climbing things. And it's like, I always saw it as like, okay, we had a few net obstacles already in the park, and this is that times 100. It's just a giant net. And when you take a net and you make it that large, it just becomes a huge trampoline. So that's kind of like where our inspiration comes from. We were like, what can we take something that we have a little bit of, something that people really enjoyed our net elements, and we're just like, how do we make this like a whole thing. It's whole brand new thing. So that's kind of where it started, and it just like grew from there. It became like a whole different, I don't know. It's a whole different experience than I expected it to be, but it's really, really fun.
You know what? One thing I'm starting to see in a few of the establishments are like trampoline parks getting a lot popular. Even Chuck E. Cheese has a bounce thing, but yours is so unique because, like you said, it's outside. It's surrounding a great atmosphere as well. So it's a great time to take advantage, especially during the summertime. Can you talk about? We're talking about a harness-free aerial net playground. Talk about the actual safety considerations that went into creating this as well.
Yeah, and that's so much fun that you asked that, actually, because when we first started talking about it, I was wondering the same thing. I was like, how is this going to work? I thought like the tops of the nets were going to be like open, and I was like, aren't people going to like want to crawl out of there? But it's not like that at all. So the way that it works is that you kind of are in like a cube of nets is the best way I can describe it. So you take a little hallway into our net for us, and we have 3 huge rooms. There's 2 that are giant, like kind of rectangle-ish cubes, and then one more that's like a triangle shape on the end, and it is completely enclosed in. So once you're in there, you're in there. You're in a net world, so you can bounce as much as you like, and you can go wherever you like, and it's like you're contained. You're good. You're not going to go anywhere outside of there. So that's how it can stay harness-free and still be like a good place to plan, because you're just kind of boxed in. Nowhere to go outside of the nets.
Yeah, that sounds very safe and ensuring as well. Just wanted to put that out there for anyone who was curious in regards to the safety aspect of this feature as well. Now, one thing I want to ask you specifically about this, is there like an age range, a limit? Like, should people be expecting, is it just for kids? Can adults come? Please explain that.
Yeah, for sure. Anyone can come as long as you're older than 4 years old. You're willing to, and includes adults too. So it's not just a kids thing. I think so far we've had a lot of people coming in thinking like, oh, it's just a thing for the kids, actual thing for them. But it's everyone can do it. I know that I've been out there with a bunch of my friends already, and we got a huge kick out of it. We've had adults going with their families. We've had adults going by themselves that just like saw it and they're like, this looks really cool. But anyone 4 and up, they can join along with the fun. And I think a lot of the fun stems from just like the sensation of how it feels too. So far, I've noticed with almost everyone that steps onto it, like they get into that first few bumps and they're like, whoa, this is really fun. And then they start kind of giggling right away. And that sensation right away is just like incredible for almost everyone. It's like a slightly more bouncy trampoline. It's kind of hard to describe in words, but it's been incredible for everyone. And you can like, some people are just having fun bouncing out there. I've seen people make up games. We have like some little, I don't want to call them dodgeballs, because dodgeballs are kind of like foam balls almost that we have in there. We have a whole room filled with them, so you can like play a couple games with the balls as well. And just whatever you like to do in there, people have been getting a kick out of it for sure.
Yeah. I know, and it's so much different from anything else we've experienced, and I'm so glad we brought that right here in our own community. And with us right here, live on the Splash, Assistant General Manager for Tree Runner Park in West Bloomfield, Luke Weller, talking about the new Bounce Forest and other features that they have featured at the Tree Runner Park right here in our community as well. Now, if I'm reading this right, you have a daytime and an illuminated nighttime session going on. Just talk about the advantages and the features that with both of these different sessions.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess it's kind of an obvious thing to say, but like morning is all bright, so you can kind of see everywhere that you're jumping. And I've seen a lot more people when they're jumping in the morning get into those games. So they're seeing like the little balls that we have in there, and there's playing like, I've seen like freeze tag, I've seen races in there. So I think in the morning I've seen a lot more people being active in that aspect in general. But in the afternoon, I've seen a lot more people just like getting a real kick out of what an unusual sensation it is almost. I have done a bit more, like done morning jumps and night jumps. And at night, it's so strange because you can't really like see the ground underneath the net. So it kind of just feels like you're jumping in void. It's just lit up enough so you can see where you're jumping. You can see where you're supposed to land. But beyond that, it's really strange, but it's really, really cool. So if you're looking for something that's just like almost like, I don't know, just a little more wacky, something that you've never experienced before, I definitely recommend the night experience. And once we get into our fall season, our Halloween stuff, we're hoping to do a little bit more like Halloween decorations out there too, make it a little spooky. So that'll be really fun as well. I'm really looking forward to seeing like how we can play into that, like, ooh, this is like a really unusual thing. Where are you jumping?
Yep. That sounds crazy, but it sounds fun too as well. If you're expecting, if you want that good nighttime outside feel, and then a little bit of that October Halloween, that'll be the perfect setting for it. I agree with that, Luke. Now, I know you all do different like group experiences as well. For anyone who has like a group at work or just maybe even a club, just talk about the group experiences at Tree Runner Park and some of the feedback you may have gotten.
Yeah, for sure. So we've always done like big groups, large groups. We encourage it because it's like, I think it's a really good moment to like get to know other people and use like teamwork together, encourage each other wherever you're at. And I think that the Bounce Forest is a really nice addition to that because it's an attraction that like you can have a lot of people doing it at once. We can have 8 people per room. We have like 3 rooms out there, 5 in one of the smaller rooms. So I can't quick math. I think that's around like 20 people that you can have total. And we've had the climbing forest, we have mini golf, but some of our other attractions I've thought like they spread you out just a little bit more. It's hard to do like every single person, 20 people doing one mini golf hole at a time, for example. So this is a really, really cool opportunity to like have like everyone in one place doing the same experience all at once. And I've mentioned before, you can do games in there. We've already done a few of our team building games before. We have like different ones with hula hoops, we already had ball throwing games, and like that's perfect. You just take them over to the Bounce Forest and now it's like you have the game but a different sensation, and it just gets a whole brand new experience out of it. It's great to do it with other people, and we just had like a summer program here with a bunch of kids, and they were having a big kick out of it doing it all together too. So that was just one group I could think of that did it recently, and I don't know, I'm very excited. I'm excited to see how we can expand in this. It's new for us too, so there's more places that we can learn, grow as well.
We're happy to be a part of it too, spreading the word as well, Luke, getting our audience and our community the word to let them know, come and take advantage, especially while the weather is pretty decent as well. We want to thank you so much for your time. Lastly, if anybody is interested in Tree Runner Park, West Bloomfield, Bounce Forest, or any other features that you all have, please tell them how they could do such.
Yeah, so our website is treerunnerparks.com. If you're looking for the West Bloomfield location, you just add treerunnerparks.com/West Bloomfield on the end of that. That's how you can find all of our information, whether it comes to like booking a ticket for the day or just looking about our courses or the Bounce Force, anything at all. You can reach out to us there too, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. But everything you need Tree Runner related, treerunnerparks.com.
Perfect. And thank you again for your time coming to tell us a little bit more about these very, very interesting features at Tree Runner Park, West Bloomfield. Once again, Assistant General Manager for Tree Runner Park, West Bloomfield, Luke Weller. Thank you again.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too, have a better one as well. And per usual, if you want to get more information, maybe that was a little bit too fast for you, go to their website, Tree Runner Park West Bloomfield. It'll be at treerunnerpark.com, specifically for West Bloomfield / West Bloomfield. treerunnerpark.com / West Bloomfield for more. With the football season just a couple of weeks away, the West Bloomfield Lakers begin their first practices this week, dead set on redemption after an early playoff exit in 2024. Civic Center TV's Tyler Keefe had a chance to talk with head coach Zach Hilbers at OAA Football Media Day to get additional insight on this year's veteran defense and new look offense.
Welcome back to OAA Football Live. I'm Tyler Keefe, joined by West Bloomfield Lakers head coach Zach Hilbers. An exciting time of the year for all the teams here in the OAA, especially for your team coming back after a really competitive 2024 in the OAA Reds. So starting off, what do you build off of coming off of a season like that had its fair share of ups and downs, but was highly competitive in one of the toughest divisions in football?
Well, I think like anything else in life, I guess you kind of build off of the lessons you learned along the way. Not to be too cliche, but I guess like the game always guarantees adversity and the ups and downs, kind of like life does. And we had our fair share of it, like you said. And hopefully we learned what it takes when you end up on top, and I guess what leads you to the results that you don't want at the same time. And our job as coaches and players is to obviously end up on the better side of that more often than not.
Having guys like Jeremiah, Travis, Tank, having them all here today, you kind of mentioned in your speech that they've been through all these ups and downs. They've seen being a step away from the pinnacle and seeing the agony of having a second-round exit against a really good Catholic Central team. How have they taken a step forward leadership-wise heading into another season?
Well, like a lot of kids do their senior year, they kind of realize the finality of things, and I guess, for lack of a better term, like the ultimatum that you're kind of pressed against, like this is your shot to do things the way you want to do it. And they're taking kind of ownership of that, and they've really been good leaders for us in the offseason.
Consistency is always something you're looking for in the season. Last season, you had sort of an issue of you'd pick up one new skill and then you pick up another problem, and that kind of went back and forth. How do you skip over that and change that habit in 2025?
Well, you hope it's something that experience kind of gives you in a way. Those kids that have been through the ups and the downs, they kind of help you navigate that with the rest of the team. Because it's really not talent. often that has the best teams. Coach Petrito, I think, mentioned that. It's the kids that can kind of navigate the seas a little bit and the ebbs and flows that the game of football will give you. And hopefully our experience does that for us.
You had mentioned in the packet that was given to the media, offensively, something you're kind of looking at as possibly a bit of an issue, but something that you're working on is massive loss of talent from last year, is in particular in the skills position. I was crunching the numbers, and about 80% of your receiving yards were between 3 players last season, over 60% of the team's touchdowns. So how do you work to replace that kind of production, especially starting with those guys that were in the mix like Obi Duru and Malcolm Gibson last season?
Well, to be honest, I'm surprised it's only 80% if you do the numbers, because if I would have gone off the top of my head between Elijah, Cam, and Jaden Alos, I would have guessed it was above 90. But yeah, so I mean, like you mentioned, Obi and Malcolm, they're both really good players, and they were good enough to play a lot last year. They were just behind kids that were really good. So I think, they're pretty hungry, and some of the kids that are coming up from the younger levels, they're pretty talented, and they're ready and eager to kind of show what they can do as well. So you're right, that's definitely a question mark when you graduate a receiver like Elijah Durham, who set every program record we have. And then Cameron Flowers and Jaden Alos and all the other talent they had out there. It was pretty special. But it doesn't mean the guys that, are waiting their turn aren't pretty special too.
The Lakers last season graduating a number of offensive weapons. You mentioned Elijah Durham. He's the all-time leader in receiving yards and receiving touchdowns, single-season yards, and he got that record twice in single-season yards in his first and second, only 2 years on the varsity squad for Elijah Durham. The quarterback situation, something people are going to be thinking about going into 2025. Last year, most of the reps, Bo Jackson, a little bit of Jamal Shakespeare. You mentioned before, last season, Jackson Carver was an up-and-comer. Are we going to be seeing kind of a mixed quarterback room, or are you set on the guy yet?
We always have a bunch of guys that take snaps. It's kind of always been our MO. You can go back 10 years. There's always 4 to 5 guys that'll take snaps at quarterback. It'll probably be more of the same of that. But you're right. Bo Jackson was the ultimate teammate, perfect competitor. He was a tremendous high school football player and a great kid. But Jamal still played a lot of quarterback as well, and so did Brody Pecor and some other kids. And it'll probably be similar. Like Jackson, we thought last year was really coming along and really impressive, and he broke his collarbone in kind of a freak injury. So I know he's pretty hungry and eager to show what he can do. But so are some of the other kids. So we'll always have, I guess, a mixed bag at that position.
Benefit of having a high power offense and going against other high power offenses, you can score a lot of points. Big benefit for your team looking forward to this season. You got a ton of talent and a ton of ability coming back on the defensive side of the football. Looking at your competition in and outside of the division this season, how big of a plus is that?
Oh, it's huge. Anytime you get experience on one side of the ball, ideally you want both, but you get it on one side of the ball, it just becomes so much easier. It's not just teaching. They kind of help spread your message throughout everybody else. And they know what to expect mentally and physically. So, we're really looking for them to kind of carry us early on and hope everybody else kind of catches up.
What's your message for your team and for Laker Nation as they head into this 2025 season? Always going to be a tough schedule, always going to have its ups and downs. What's it going to take for this Laker team to get back to where everyone's expecting them to be playing late in November?
Just the mental perseverance that it takes. Things aren't always going to go your way. Of our 11 games last year, we were leading at some point in 10 of them, but we only won 5. So kind of just finishing the job and navigating that a little bit better and trying to stay hard mentally.
August 28th, 7 o'clock kickoff at Lakers Stadium. It's a Thursday night game, family fun night, as well as we kick off the 2025 season. More information on Laker football all season long on your home for Lakers sports, Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Coach, thanks again.
Thank you.
More coverage from OAA Football Media Day and of Lakers sports online on CivicCenterTV.com and, of course, across all of our social media platforms as well. Bush's Fresh Food Market is celebrating its 50th year in Southeast Michigan. This year marked by special events earlier in the spring, including tastings and community giveaways. We actually talked to Mitch Orlan, Culinary Innovations Manager for Bush's Fresh Food Market, to talk more about this very special occasion.
Mitch, thanks so much for being with us today.
It's a pleasure being here.
Yeah, happy to have you on as you just recently concluded your Cherry Fest celebration and the 50th anniversary celebration of Bush's Fresh Food Market and all your 16 Southeast Michigan locations, including here in the Greater West Bloomfield area. What feedback have you gotten so far from that particular focus on cherries, which Michiganders love so much, and the big celebration of 50 years of one of our beloved local markets?
Well, it's been an amazing reception to the 50-year. We had a month-long promotions. We had prices from 50 years ago. And then we led into the Cherry Fest, which, as you know, local Michigan cherries. Bush's is a local staple for 50 years. And we really innovated on all the different local items, local cherry items we have. And we created items by ourselves in food service and bakery. We had probably over 40 cherry items throughout the store that we had deals on also. And then we're rolling into our Hatch Chili Fest, which you're not going to believe what we're doing for that one. So we're very excited about how we can bring each community a flavor of the whole company and the communities we serve, but also like West Bloomfield, we focus on kosher and different items and what we can do there to really dig into the community and be part of what's going on in the local food scene and helping local businesses.
And that's another important part of it, is getting involved in the local food scene. There's been a big focus from Bush's of late on hyper-local produce, and in fact, an entire program on putting that hyper-local produce cultivated at farms in the local area into these local stores. What sparked that being an emphasis for this company in recent times?
Well, it only makes sense, right? We're in Michigan. We're in this part of Michigan. We've been here a long time. It's how we've been supported by the communities, is actually their support when we bring in local products. I love to walk the farmers market, see what's new, see what's fresh. And then it's super exciting because we listen to our customers and what they want. We have the ability to move fast. We deliver to our stores 7 days a week. It's pretty amazing that we can do that. And we can have a serious kosher section in the West Bloomfield store for that community, and I like to bring that out to the other stores, what's possible. I'm a kid from Brooklyn, so I'm really excited to dig into the West Bloomfield community more and what we can do for them and share with the other stores, of course.
And it's so important in 2025 with customers wanting to know more about where their food is coming from. It comes from a local farm. They have a better idea of how many steps it's taken before it goes from its cultivation to ultimately the grocery stores, and then from there into their homes. But it also helps them learn a little bit about those products. I would imagine it's a lot easier to tell the story of where some of this produce is coming from when you have built those relationships with those local farmers. So, what has the response been like from customers here in West Bloomfield to these efforts to further localize these relationships as you're bringing in these products?
Well, really, it's been amazing. And we actually remodeled that store a few years ago and really brought in new concepts that we could help the community. At the same time, back to the local produce, it's so fresh, right? And we know the farmers, and we can have produce from 5 miles around the Broomfield store or our Clinton store, or we could bring that into our warehouse and ship it out. That really helps the farmers and the producers. Driving stuff to the stores do we want our farmers doing that? No, we can help them. So super excited to keep into that West Bloomfield community, though, and really dig in on community marketing. We have tons of philanthropy we do with the different areas in the community, and we're really looking forward to October because we got a lot of great stuff coming up for Oktoberfest, and then Hatch Chili right up the corner. So super excited, and I'm going to play with some new kosher food as well.
And so in a day where so many people are looking for the affordable option, and unfortunately that often comes from these big box stores, these national companies that are competing in the same space as more localized companies like Bush's, how do you then make sure that you're staying competitive while balancing that need from your side, the effective marketing tool and effective really customer service tool of constant communication with local efforts, with your local community? How do you balance all that to stay competitive while still having that heart that you have at your 16 local stores?
Well, I'll spin that around. That is what makes us competitive, right? We are the local stores. We do dig into the communities, and it's in the name, right? Bush's, that's the family. Fresh, we're the freshest. Like, come look at our food. Look at our produce. Our guys go down to the market, and then we have relationship with the families. And, nutrient density, you can get junk food, you can get less calories, you can go to certain places, but our food has nutrient density. So if you really look at the price for your health and the calorie, we really do better than most of those guys, and we care and we listen.
And that's what's really important here, is getting that localized service and also being able to involve people that are in these spaces in the local community as well. So if there are residents or other community groups that maybe have some of those farm-to-table options that could be seen in a fresh food market like Bush's, or they want to provide samples, have local tastings, other efforts, how can they get in contact with your organization to plan some of those even right here in West Bloomfield?
Well, that's another great thing about us. Really, they should just walk into their local store and ask for the store manager, and, we will take care of them. And one of the best things, I heard a story about the West Bloomfield store. I guess Heartland Market had closed in that area, and we brought some of the folks to us. And some of the customers now come every day, but some of the cashiers that are working at Bush's, that we kept their job in the community. And we just think that's really special, what we can do for folks and what they do for us.
More information can be found on Bush's Fresh Food Market on the website, or you can visit them at their local location here in West Bloomfield, 14 Mile Road in Farmington. That's right next to Connect Senior Center, of course. Bush's.com, BUSCHS.com, or of course stop in at their location. Mitch, thank you so much for your time today and for telling us more.
Bon appetit and mazel tov.
And once again, you can find out more about your local West Bloomfield Bush's Fresh Food Market on their website at bushes.com. That's BUSCHS.com. Austin Joseph Bashi, professional mixed martial artist, was born, raised, and continues to train out of West Bloomfield Township. And he proudly represents his hometown in his UFC career. We had a chance to speak with Austin after his first UFC victory to give us his reactions to the win. How you doing, Austin?
I'm doing real good, man. How have you been? How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm going to be honest. We interviewed, talked to you before. I can already see in your face a different glow and smile, man. I love it. So let's get your initial reactions and feelings to winning your first fight in the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
I felt really good, having my first UFC victory was very big for me, especially after coming off of that loss in January. I was been working very, very hard this last 6-7 months, and getting my first win this past Saturday feels amazing.
There it is, man. I love it. And we're going to talk about that recovery process, too, because I think that's extremely important in anybody's life to recover from or what some people would consider a loss. But the fact that you are a hometown hero right here in West Bloomfield, can you just talk about personally what it's been like to you to represent West Bloomfield on such a big stage?
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. I'm just kid from West Bloomfield High School, and after high school graduated, started in MMA, and here I am now on national television fighting in front of millions around the world watching. So it's real cool to be able to do that.
You get nervous at all before those fights and those big lights?
I mean, of course you get nerves and stuff, but as soon as the ref says to fight, kind of everything gets out the window, and you're just kind of focused, tunnel vision. And, yeah.
Man, I saw the highlights too, Austin. You were about that business, and I love it. But let's go back real quick, right? This is what I wanted to touch on. You bounced back from your first professional loss earlier this year with a statement performance that you did, and congratulations again. So just talk about that mental process or just the recovery process in general that helped shape how you handled that setback.
Right. I've been competing like pretty much my whole life, MMA and a bunch of different stuff, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, and I've lost before, and it's to me, I had the same mindset of, I just got to come back, work very hard so it never happens again. And that's what I've been doing these last 6 months since January. Just got back to the gym with my coaches and teammates. We went over my mistakes and we've been working on it. And Saturday night got the victory.
My mans, I love it. I love to see it. And we're going to have a little bit of fun today, continuously getting to know you and your personality. But with me right here live on The Splash, by the way, UFC professional mixed martial artist Austin Bashi talking about his recent victory in the UFC as well. And I want you to correct me on some of these notes I have. Prior to entering the octagon, Bashi built a 14-1 professional record, fighting mainly in Lights Out and Dana White's Contender Series, with 6 wins by submission and 3 by TKO. Just to put a little bit perspective on my man, put some respect on his name as well. I just want to ask you, random question, your top, let's say top 4, your Mount Rushmore of fighters. Who did you look up to?
I would say John Jones, Anderson Silva, George St. Pierre, and Demetrius Johnson. Those were the 4 that are probably some of the 4 of the greatest of all time, and I've always watched them since a little kid. And till this day, there's some of them are still competing, so it's crazy to watch that.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy is somebody, I don't even watch UFC or MMA that much. I watch your fight. I watch the highlights at least, but I'm going to make sure I'm going to actually buy your next fight. But I'm not even familiar with too many MMA fighters, but some of the ones you name, like, they're so top of their class that I am familiar with John Bones Jones and Anderson Silva. You can't miss those names, so I completely get it, man. But your victory, I got to get back to that. It was incredible to see. 3 minutes and 39 seconds. Like I said, if you go to the concession stand, you missed the whole thing. Came in at under 4 minutes via submission. Talk about how your teammates, your coaches, your friends, family, just your support system helped develop what it takes to finish these fights so quickly.
Yeah, so I'm obviously here in the gym all day with my coaches, and they create a game plan for me, and we work at the whole entire fight camp. And going into fight night, we try to follow that game plan, and we got the job done in the first round.
And we love that too, man. I mean, I'll say this. As a fan, if I'm there, I want to see a good fight. I want to see somebody go down by submission or TKO or something like that. But then sometimes the fight goes so quick, you're like, oh my goodness. Like, I couldn't even tie my shoes and look up and I missed the whole thing. But you did what you were supposed to do. And that's all that matters, Austin. And we love that. So I want to ask you about balancing, right? So you're on this mountain of success. You're climbing. What's it like balancing success on this global stage while trying to remain grounded around your community and in your community?
Right. So on a day-to-day basis, I'm training all morning, all night. But then after I'm done with it, I'm with my family, enjoying time with them, and just doing, just basic stuff with them. But I'm just hanging out and having a good time with them. But make sure to get all my training out the way of the day, and then after that's done, then I'll have fun.
Yeah, man, I love that. Spending time with family, I love that you said that as well, man. It's a great way for anybody to stay grounded, especially when you're climbing. You're in the big lights, the cameras are on you, and a lot of people have a lot of things to say. Just, hey, stay to the things that keep me where I am and got me to where I am as well. Now, in the future, let's look ahead. Where do you see yourself next? What's next for Austin?
I'm hoping to be fighting in the next few months, hopefully October, November, and getting another fight in. But that's right now where I'm seeing myself this week, taking the week off of the gym and then getting back to it on Monday and getting back to my routine.
Yeah. Hey, whoever's next on the card, just tell them to be ready, because I know you're going off of that momentum and that victory, man, and we all looking forward to it. Lastly, we can't leave you without you leaving a message for the people who are looking up to you. How do you hope your journey impacts the young athletes in Greater West Bloomfield who want to follow in your footsteps, Austin?
Yeah, just like I was saying, I'm just like everyone else, all you guys, just a kid. And from West Bloomfield over here, and just chase my dream. I said to myself, I'm going to be a UFC champion one day. And ever since that dream I had as a kid, I've been working every day super hard for it. And here I am now, just getting my first victory inside the UFC and starting out my career. So anything you put your head into and your mind into, everything is possible.
Talk, Austin. I'm so happy for you, man. Hey, when I see you, arm wrestle challenge. I can't beat you in the fight. Arm wrestle challenge, man. Hey, but listen, thank you again, once again, UFC professional mixed martial artist representing West Bloomfield, Austin Bashi. Thank you again, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Yes. And you can watch the other interviews we've done with Austin Bashi on our website. Go directly to civiccentertv.com, click on the On Demand tab, and search Austin Bashi. You can keep up with Civic Center TV on all digital platforms, Facebook, that's Civic Center TV 15, YouTube, Instagram, and X at Civic Center TV. And of course, you can find us active on our website at civiccentertv.com. I've been your host, Kevin McIntosh. Thank you so much for watching and listening with us. And per usual, it's never goodbye, but see you later. We are live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.